Good morning. It's the first day of koreadathon. I have a lot to do, so I'm gonna go make some coffee and then we can talk about my TBR. Okay, so I have my coffee. These are the books that I'm hoping to accomplish in this challenge. I am going to try all 4 of these books. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I have kind of a lot to do during this readathon, so it might be something where I don't get around to it, but it's not the end of the world if that happens. So first, obviously, you know, Wicked Fox is the group book. I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to read this since I heard about it. I know Katcho really got inspiration from her love of K-dramas. That's like me, you know, I like K-dramas. So I want to see how that is represented in this story. Next, the challenge is to read something that was published before 2018, and I am gonna read Angel Fall by Susan E. I really have not a lot of knowledge of what this book is about. All I know about this is that it's paranormal. It looks like it might be angels. I honestly don't know. For the book that was written originally in Korean, I have Please Look After Mom by Kyung-Suk Shin. I am really interested in this. It's about a woman, the mother of the family, who goes missing at the bus station in Seoul, and it's kind of dealing with the family and how they deal with the mother's disappearance. And my final book, which is the book that I want to read, but I'm putting at last just so it's my buffer. If I don't get to this one, I don't get to it. It's the book that's set in the past, and I'm kind of cheating on this one, and I'm using Kendare Blake's 3 Dark Crowns because I feel like fantasy stories that involve kings and queens, I really have not a lot of knowledge of this book, again, because I don't like reading summaries. I feel like they're always set in the past no matter what. If need be, I can use any of these 2 as my book set in the past technically, so I will still fulfill all the challenges with the books that I have, but I would really like to get to this one. Those are the 4 books that I am going to be reading. If you saw my last readathon stuff, you know that I incorporated Asian dramas into the mix. I'm not gonna do that this time. I will be watching stuff, but nothing that's specific. I can't even begin to read anything for the next couple of hours. I don't know what I'm gonna start with first, but we'll see. I am done with everything that I needed to do. I edited and uploaded my video, and I created a blog post, even worked on another blog post that I have for tomorrow at 8, and I feel very accomplished, but it's 4:30. I'm just now getting into reading. It was raining a lot earlier. This kind of wave of a thunderstorm rolled in. So I thought, you know what? It's time to be reading. It just seems like the right time to be reading. My first book that I'm gonna read is Angel Fall. I've officially heard from multiple people that this is a good book, or at least a book that entertained people. So I am excited to be reading this. I'll try to read for an hour or 2. I'm about halfway through the book. I'm enjoying it. It's not what I expected. I mean, I didn't read anything about it, so I can't really say anything. I do like that this book, just right off the bat, started kind of with a bang. You didn't get very much set up on the world before things started happening, so that was kind of interesting. There are some weird writing elements that Susan E. does, where time has passed, but there's not much setup before it happens, and then she'll kind of write in after the fact what had happened those previous times, so that's kind of weird. But now that I'm kind of into the book, I'm used to the writing style. I mean, obviously I've only been reading for a little over an hour and I'm halfway through, so there's a good chance that I could finish it tonight. There's also another element to this book. I don't think this is a spoiler. The main character's mother is schizophrenic, and I think that's a really interesting element to this book, because if you don't know what the book is about, it's about this kind of post-apocalyptic world where angels have descended upon the earth and are killing humans or doing something. People are dying and nobody has access to things anymore, except that it's very kind of new to the world because still electricity is still kind of running, but there are you see that people are kind of confined to their houses and everybody's kind of losing hope now that these angels have fallen. And a lot of the people don't know exactly what's going on because they only saw what they saw on the TV before things really started to go bad, because I guess on the TV they saw that the angel Gabriel, oh, there goes the thunder. Now my cat's gonna freak out. The angel Gabriel was like basically shot immediately by humans once they came down, and so it's like causes kind of rift between the angels and the humans. And then also there's like things happening between the angels themselves. Maybe they're in different classes or different things or whatever it is. And so it deals with the main girl who is basically stuck with an angel and has to kind of go throughout this like world trying to survive, essentially. What I really like about the fact that her mother is this kind of character who has a very real mental illness that produces thoughts and illusions of not real things. It's kind of an interesting juxtaposition between like having some like fantastical angels in the world and the mother being very real in a very real sickness, and kind of tying that into being kind of like bringing reality back into it. Excited that the first book that I chose is a good book for the readathon, and that's always fun. You don't want to start off a readathon with a book that you're like about. Listen, nobody told me how great the last 50 pages of this book was gonna be. Like, honestly, I can't even comprehend what's going on. Like, it just went in a way that I was just not expecting. It's day 2 of the koreadathon, and last night I finished Angel Fall. Did you expect less of me? I hope not. I could not put this book down. It was a super fast read. I loved pretty much every second of it, especially the last like 50 pages of this book. Wasn't expecting it, and it's like so on target with genre that I love. And I thought Susan E. did a really great job of capturing these characters and building this world, and she didn't do it in a way that I felt was like too much. Like, she didn't try to make you understand everything. Main female character, she's 17, and although she's a character who's had to grow up really fast, she has a mother who's sick and her sister is handicapped, and they lost her dad when she was young or younger, and then this like apocalypse happens with the angels, and so her world is just crazy, and she's had to grow up fast, and she's had to kind of be the breadwinner for the family. I feel like a lot of authors try to kind of do that thing where because the character, even though they're young, they've grown up fast, so they kind of keep them at that kind of like adult level. Susan E. allowed her character to be a 17-year-old. So yes, there are times when she was doing stuff that a normal 17-year-old wouldn't do. She had moments where you're like, yes, this girl is 17. Especially when you're an outsider and you're like, you know, older too. You're like, girl, you're so young, you don't know what's going on. And it was spectacular. I was not expecting this from this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 because I think it's great. High School Jessie, would have loved this book. Like, this would have been high school Jessie's dream book. Okay, it's time. Hi. So I am about 133 pages into Wicked Fox right now. I'm very much enjoying it. It's very cute. It's been doing a lot of K-drama things, which I knew going into it, and I'm just like super excited. So update, I'm about 170 pages into Wicked Fox. I had to stop because I've been cleaning, and right now I need to go to the grocery store because I need to get some things. So I figured I would get it now before it gets too late. So I'm gonna do that, and then I wanna go back to reading because it's really good. It's perfectly, delightfully K-drama tropey. I'm like super into it. That show definitely watches dramas, and it's not like an occasional thing. It's, I mean, everything about that book is very K-drama, and I'm here for it. It's what I like. I'm trying to do two things at once, so please forgive me. It is day 3 of the koreadathon. I failed at like vlogging anymore yesterday since I went to the grocery store, but also I failed at reading anything since I went there as well. Time got away from me and I was doing other things, and I was making dinner and I was watching like YouTube and doing some like things around the house and just playing with the cats and that sort of thing. And then after dinner, I don't know what I was thinking, but I ended up like just messing around some more, and it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I was like, yes, I'm going to read this book. Because to be fair, I've been thinking about the book the entire time. I was like, I should really pick that up, but I was trying to like, you know, space it out, don't like read everything all on one day. And then I remembered I had to finish editing the podcast. It was a really long episode because the first of the month we do music episodes. When it's a birthday month, the person who has the birthday gets to choose who we talk about, and so they're a little bit longer because, you know, it's like their favorite and they're like gushing about it. And so it was a longer episode and took me a lot longer, even having already like chipped away at some of it the previous days. It still like took me like a normal episode time to edit, and it was late and I was tired, and then I just couldn't conceivably bring myself to read some of the book, which is a bummer because I wanted to read at least half of it yesterday so that I could read another half today, and then I kind of be good in my like pacing, because I don't know how the other books are gonna be. If they're not books I'm like super into, I won't read them as fast, that sort of thing. But I am like on 180, so it wasn't terrible. I think the book is a little over 400 pages, so it wasn't like too bad. But I am, additionally with this book, I'm going to be reviewing it, and so I've been stopping to write notes just so I remember, and that takes time. And just now all I want to do is read it, but I can't because I have things to do. And so hopefully here in a couple of hours I'll be able to do it. Hi, so I finally got to pick up Wicked Fox. I spent the last hour reading. I think I'm on like 312. Yeah, something like that. 312. So I will definitely be done. Like, look at it. Can you see that? I'll be done with this book tonight. My parents are coming home in about an hour, so that's why I stopped, because I've got laundry to fold, and then my cat has been terrorizing me for food. She's hungry. She just like turned her head. Lizzie, are you hungry? So I'm gonna try to talk a little lower because my parents are asleep. They were traveling all day and I don't want to wake them because I'm talking to my phone, because but I finished Wicked Fox. Like, I was debating what I wanted to give it, and there were times when I was like, yes, this is awesome, and there were times like, this is pretty cute. So I ended up with a 4 out of 5. I had a lot of fun with the story. I hope there's a sequel. It kind of seems like there's a sequel. I haven't actually read anything, so maybe it's known that there's a sequel, but it on Goodreads it does say that it's the first, like it's the Wicked Fox #1. So I'm thinking there's a sequel. This is also like the second book out of this challenge where if I had read this when I was in high school, like I would have loved this. It was so good and it was so much fun. And you know, what was really fun about it was that just this past month I read Dragon Pearl by Yoonha E. Is that his name? I can't remember. But that is also another story about a gumiho. And I don't know much about gumihos. I don't, I haven't like looked into that Korean mythology or watched anything with them or anything like that, except for like the standard like K-drama trope where it's, you know, very much a rom-com-y setting. But it was really neat to read this book in kind of comparison about what a gumiho is in the Dragon Pearl and just kind of the differences of it. And so that was really cool. There were a lot of really cool techniques that she did, that Kacho did, where she kind of interspersed a telling of a gumiho story, almost like it's I can't even like think of how to describe it, but like just like a fable that has been passed down from generation to generation. And I really enjoyed that. That just kind of added more to it. It added more depth to it, but also kind of gave this like really nice kind of correlation on how much Kacho really delved into the mythology of the whole of gumihos and that sort of thing. And so I very much enjoyed that. And yeah, it was just like a really kind of like a solid book to read. Hello, it is very late at night. I think it's like 11. I didn't vlog a lot today because I didn't read a lot during the day. I think I read like 70 pages before. That's what that clip was before this one. And I just spent like an hour reading, let's see, about 100 more pages. So I am, we can't even see that, well on my way to finishing Please Look After Mom. Did I tell you I was reading Please Look After Mom? That's what I'm doing, by Kyung-Suk Shin. I'm really liking this book a lot. I didn't really know much about it. Obviously, like, that's like story of my life with these books. It has almost everything I never told you vibe to it. So if you liked that book, you might like this book. I have to record a podcast tomorrow and I forgot that I need to watch a movie for that podcast. So I'm gonna stop reading and to watch that so I can do my duty and be good. But I probably would have finished it today or tonight if I didn't have to watch the movie, which is like, but oh well, that's fine. This cat is a terrible iPad holder. Gracie, what are you doing? Can I help you? So it is 11 o'clock on day 5 of the readathon. If you can hear my cat below me. I just finished Please Look After Mom by Kyung-Suk Shin. I'm kind of torn on what I'm gonna rate this. I am not good with rating books. I mean, I just obviously kind of started getting really back heavily into books, and even like before I wasn't really rating books or like paying any attention to rating books, so I'm terrible at rating them now. I think I've got like a pretty solid grasp of dramas and how I like to rate them, but that doesn't translate to books. So I feel like I'm always giving like books, or at least it seems like I'm giving a lot of books 5 out of 5s right off the gate. Rating is also weird because I also like, I don't necessarily care about ratings, but I do in the stance of like, if I know someone's taste in books, like if I know that I personally like their stuff, I see their ratings as a guide for me to look further into that book that they've rated highly. And so that's how I want to portray my rating scale. It's not necessarily like rating because I want it to be certain like really strict guidelines. And so it's hard with books, and I don't know. I think I want to give this 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was really, really good and very kind of like eye-opening, and I thought that the way that the book is set up is really great. Like, I find it interesting because it's told through like the sister's viewpoint after the mother has vanished, and the father and brother, and so you got all these like kind of perspectives and all their like kind of ties to the mother, and you know it very much focuses on the fact that you will not understand what you will be missing until it's missing, especially like with family members and with your mother. And I thought it was really well told. There was just like a little section that it was hard to get into because it's like done in parts, so you never know, like it takes you a while to figure out who is in the part, which is like fine. I don't like need to have that backstory, like, but like it was just kind of hard at one point. I was getting really confused with stuff, and it definitely was. I found, even though I read a lot of it yesterday, I found picking it up today, it was hard to get back into it after having put it down. I don't know, like, if I hadn't read as much as I did yesterday, or like if I had not been doing this for a readathon, if I was just reading a little bit every night, would it be still that hard? Which I think it might be. It also, you know, who knows if it like stems with it being a translated thing, that like some of it's a little different than its intended actual like thought process. I really do like highly suggest reading this if you are into kind of hard hitting contemporary adult books, like centered around family and motherhood, especially. It's definitely highly like concentrated in that, and I do think it like gives a really great picture of like the juxtaposition between like nowadays Korea and Korea in the past, and also like not like Korea like Seoul Korea, you know, kind of more out in the like more just like outskirts of Korea. It's a really interesting read to read that culturally, like as a standpoint of just like reading a lot about things that definitely if you were Korean, I think like you would just like immediately be like, yeah, I remember that with my mother, or you know, I remember doing that with my grandmother. And me obviously not having had that history, it was kind of a really nice like peek into the life of a Korean and the family, and I do think it was really good, and it like does keep you like kind of suspenseful through the entire book because you don't know what's going on with the mother. Like you don't know where she is, nobody knows, and you don't know if it's gonna like go a different direction or not. I'm sorry that my vlogs have been kind of crappy the past couple days. My parents came in town. I don't like vlogging in front of people, especially like my parents. Also, you know, I want to be like hanging out with them if I'm there. Like I'm not gonna vlog them or anything. And so we've been like kind of doing stuff like during the day, or just like today I spent like most of the day doing podcast stuff. So that like was a thing that I did. Tomorrow is the 4th, and so we're really not like celebrating, but we are going to IKEA. So I probably won't get to reading until very late in the day, which is fine. There are 2 days left in the readathon, so I have 2 days to read 3 Dark Crowns, which I'm hoping I can do. It is the 4th. You can probably hear it in the background. I have officially started the Dark Crown, which has this really cool little emblem on the front. I love when books have different things in the underneath the dust jacket. I had to eat really quick because I just recorded another podcast because my life is a podcast. I'm not that far. I'm like maybe 60 pages in. This is going to be a slow read for me. I wasn't really feeling it when I started it. I'm still not, so my goal is to get half of this done tonight. But I also have to edit the podcast we just recorded, so it's like 9:30 already. It's going to be a long night. Hello. So it is really late at night, and I'm trying my hardest to read this book. I am on page 81, and it's kind of torture. Like, I'm not really digging it, and I can't get into it, and I've been doing the thing where, like, I'll read a page and then realize that I didn't actually read anything or process anything, which is kind of a bummer, because I've heard this is pretty good, and I know that there's some sort of, like, twist at the end. I don't know what it is, so I can't tell you, or like that's not a spoiler or anything, but people that I know that have it highly rated, I tend to like the stuff that they like, and it's definitely not the genre, because I do like fantasy novels too. If I have any hope in finishing it, I need to read 200 pages of it tonight, and I just don't want to. I give up. So this is my official update that at 9:13 p.m. on the last day of the koreadathon, I have decided to call it quits. I have read maybe like 80 pages of Three Dark Crowns, and I've tried to pick up the book 4 times today. I'm not the type of person who can like push through reading or push through watching something I don't like, and I tried so hard, but it's just not gonna happen. I mean, I watched like 6 episodes of Search WWW, so like that has to do with something, like it's in Korean. Koreadathon is officially over. I know kind of like at the last end of the week I wasn't vlogging as much. That's because it just wasn't really good to be vlogging, so I'm sorry about that, but I thought I'd like very quickly kind of go over the readathon and just like talk about things that I accomplished for the readathon. So I had 4 books on my TBR. 3 of them were guaranteed. The 4th one I thought I might not get to, and I didn't get to it, and I read 3 books. But that doesn't matter, because those 3 books actually like fulfilled all the challenges. Here they are. So the first book that I read was Angel Fall by Susan E. I absolutely loved this book so much. Like, so much that right in my cart right now are the next 2 in the series. I gave this a 5 out of 5. It was incredible. It's like everything that I want in a book. It's fun and entertaining, and it's like a sci-fi paranormal book, and that's my jam. So really happy about reading this, and it was a really great book to start off the koreadathon. So the next book that I read was Wicked Fox, the group book. I gave this, I think, a 4 out of 5. It's probably closer to a 4.5 out of 5. Honestly, I really enjoyed this book. It was a great little YA, like, romance with, like, fantasy, especially with the Gumiho storyline, and I thought that was really cool, especially the way that it was incorporated in this book, and it reads just like a K-drama. These post-it notes, they're like every time there was like a K-drama reference or like a parallel to a K-drama, and I'm really excited to read other things from Cat Show too. It was just so much fun. So the third and final book that I read was Please Look After Mom by Kyung Suk Shin. I also very much enjoyed this book. I think I ended up giving this a solid 4.5 out of 5. This is a really solid book about just family and kind of taking granted people in your life when they're there, and not like thinking about it until after they're gone. And I really enjoyed that about this book. It really did make me think about things, and it's a really solid choice if you're looking for a contemporary that's like family based. My 4th book I don't have down here, or the 4th book that I attempted, was Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. I ended up not reading that one. I got, I think, around 80 pages, and it wasn't for like not having time or trying. I picked up that book probably 6 times trying to read it, and I couldn't. I was trying to push through because I was trying to like finish it for this readathon, but also because I knew a lot of people that I knew liked it, and it seemed like right up in my alley of like kind of genre of a book, and I knew that there was possibly like good things on the very end of it, so I was like trying to get to that, and I couldn't. I'm gonna shelve it for now, so maybe it just is a book that I need to be in the right mindset, or like not be in a readathon, or just read it like slowly. I don't know. I had a lot of fun doing the readathon. Readathons are like fun for me. This is my second one that I've officially done, and I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, I know it's been like a couple days since the readathon has been done, and like I have no clue what I actually like filmed, so who knows, this could be the worst video. So if it is, I'm sorry about that. We'll like just continue on, and maybe the next one will be better. I'm trying to think. The next video that I'm going to be doing is probably going to be my TBR for the reading rush, because I will be doing the reading rush readathon at the end of the month, and I haven't like solidified my TBR yet, so I will be doing that. I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.